Hi, I'm Gianna and welcome. Today I am doing a contour and highlighting tutorial. This is easy, natural, but just a little bit glam, and I am going to teach you how to do this look. If you want to learn, then just keep watching and please subscribe for more how-to videos. So, I'm going to get started with doing my everyday contour and highlighting. So this is what I do on a daily basis, to be honest. It looks pretty natural. It's definitely, a little on the glam side, but I do need to do my hair and makeup every day for work in the salon. So this is what I do every day. I'm going to be using some liquid and cream products and also some powders, so you'll see a combination what will really lock everything in place and last long, and what tends to blend out really nicely. So I already did my skincare and I did my eye makeup, so I have my eye makeup all finished, and then I usually like to do that first and then go in and apply all of my face. I just think it works out cleaner that way. So I'm going to start by applying a primer. Primer is super important. It just gives your skin a really nice base. It helps everything to last longer. It looks really smooth. So I never ever put foundation on my face without primer. So my favorite primer right now is the Too Faced Hangover Primer. It is really nice and lightweight. I do about a pump and a half, and then I just apply that all over. It feels really nice. It's really lightweight. It feels almost just like you're putting a lightweight moisturizer on. I tend to stay away from the silicone type primers. I just feel like my makeup tends to slide with those type of primers, so I like something that dries a little bit more and almost has a little bit of tackiness to it. And don't forget your neck and your jaw, because you're gonna put foundation on there too and you want everything to be smooth, right? And always be really gentle around your eye area. You're not trying to look old like anytime soon, so the more gentle the better. So I am going in with my foundation. I'm going to be using a beauty sponge, a damp beauty sponge. Right now I'm using the Morphe sponge. It's really, really nice. And I am going to use the Beauty Blender foundation, the Bounce foundation. I usually use about 2 pumps. I just apply it straight to the sponge, and then I will just dab it everywhere, and then just start to blend it out. Always blending down the neck. And then when you use a sponge, you want to make sure you're pressing and bouncing the product into the skin. You don't want to swipe or wipe. That's going to leave streaks, and that is going to cause a very uneven application. You want to make sure you get your ears a little bit too. My pet peeve is seeing someone whose ears are a different color than their face. So when you think you're done blending, just keep blending. I swear. You'll thank me later. So I usually like to just apply a fairly thin layer of foundation, enough to cover everything because my skin tends to get a little red and blotchy, but I don't like the feeling of really heavy products. So I like to layer everything really thin and just use a little extra coverage with the concealer as I need it. I am going to conceal. So when you're contouring and highlighting, the highlighting is adding light to what you want to draw out. And when you contour, you're adding dark to what you want to bring in. So anything that you want to hide, chisel, shape, that's what you're going to use a darker color and you are going to contour with. When you want to enhance, bring out any features on your face, you are going to, or brighten, you're going to want to use a lighter color. So I'm starting with my concealer, which is a lighter color than my skin. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. Pretty much everyone's tried it. It's awesome. It's a really nice full coverage concealer. Hides everything. So I'm going to just apply this everywhere that I want to brighten, I want to conceal, and I want to bring out. So I am applying this, and you just need a little bit. I'm applying this under my eye, down the bridge of my nose, on my chin, on my forehead, and along my jawline. And then I also get a little bit of redness around my nose. A lot of girls get that. So, or boys. We get that. So you just want to conceal a little bit around there. I have a little bit of extra redness around my mouth. A couple little spots I want to hide. So this is where we want to brighten, lighten, draw out, or conceal. So that is on. So I usually like to blend out my highlight first and then I go in and apply my contour. I just think everything tends to blend better that way. Some people will apply everything at once and then choose to blend out, but this is just the way I like to do it. There's no wrong way. Makeup is art, so it's all subjective. You just want to make sure things are blended and colors look nice together and flattering. So I'm just, again, pressing that concealer into my skin using pressing motions. I'm not swiping or wiping because that's going to cause streaks. Has anyone ever pounced on their contact when they were applying concealer? I do that a lot, and then things are a little cloudy for a minute. So now that I am all brightened, I'm just going to go in with a color corrector in my under eyes just because I like a little extra coverage under my eyes. So and again, this is how I usually do my personal makeup. Sometimes on clients in the salon and my brides and everything, I will do things a little differently depending on their face shape, their skin color, their desired look. But this is what I like to do on a daily basis, just to look put together, polished, a little glam, but you know, I'm trying to get my makeup done in like 10-15 minutes because Girl's gotta go to work. So I'm gonna just apply a little bit more concealer on top of that color corrector, just to blend everything out. And this concealer really like a little dot goes a long way, which is great because it lasts forever. It covers really well. Okay, so now that the concealer is all blended out, everything liquid related is on in terms of highlight, I'm going to go in with a cream foundation that is a couple shades darker than my skin, and then I'm going to show you where I contour. So I'm using a Clinique foundation stick, and I am going to apply this right above my cheekbone. Or should I say right on my cheekbone. And you want to make sure you really feel where the bone is in your face, and you want to kind of go right on there, like slightly above. Some people tend to go too low, and it tends to make their face look rounder, and it doesn't actually bring things in and make your cheekbones look stronger and more defined. So you want to really feel where that bone is, and you really want to apply right onto the cheekbone right here. So I applied it right here onto my cheekbones, and then I'm going to just put a little bit on my forehead. So this is usually where you will get a little tan or a little sunburn in the summer if you're out in the sun. But you better not get sunburned because you better wear sunscreen every day. So you just want to apply a little bit of that there, just to kind of bring everything together. If you have a little bit of a larger forehead, this is a great trick just to make it appear a little bit smaller. I would say my forehead's, I don't know, kind of average. So I just apply a little bit just to kind of bring everything together and make it look just a little smaller. And then I will apply this under my jawline. So this is just gonna distract from any double chin related things happening. And then my chin is actually a little bit on the pointy side, so I like to just apply a little bit kind of right on my chin bone as well, just to bring that in. And then I will just apply a little bit on the tip of my nose just to make that a little shorter. So now that all of the cream contour is applied, I'm gonna go ahead and just blend all of that out. So I always say to do all of your liquid and cream products first, and then set everything with a powder. So this is gonna make everything last all day, because you're really gonna lock all of those cream products in. So again, just pressing that product into the skin. And then you really want to blend this up into your hairline. Just gonna make it look as natural as possible. And you just want to really press that and blend it as much as possible. So this is really gonna give your face a lot of shape. And just make your facial features pop a little bit more. now that all of my cream products are applied, I am going to set my concealer and everywhere highlighted with a translucent powder. So right now I am using the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. So it's really nice because it is really smooth, it's lightweight, it's pretty sheer. So I usually just go in with a brush to apply this powder. I'm just gonna double check that nothing creased. When you are blending out your under eye, always go both inward and outward. Some people tend to just blend out, but you're making that product travel to the outside of your eye and you want to just keep it there. So you just want to blend inward and outward, inward and outward, and that just kind of keeps it where you want it, but it also blends it out. So I'm just gonna just tap into that product, just dip into that product and tap off the excess. And then I am going to just press this powder into the area that we applied concealer. So again, I'm pressing, I'm not swiping or like wiping it all over. I'm also bringing it down the sides of my nose. So this is just going to kind of bring your nose in a little bit as well and just help to add a little contour and shape to the nose. And I just let that sit while I apply bronzer. So I'm going in with a warmer bronzer first. I'm using the Modus Cosmetics 3-in-1 Contour Kit. So I'm going in first with a warm bronzer shade. And I'm just going to apply this right over top of where we did that cream contour. So I'm just going very light-handed and just buffing that into the contour of my cheek and just going up into the hairline. So again, just applying that bronzer right where we applied the cream contour and very gently buffing it into the hairline. You want to be very light-handed because you don't want to move around that liquid and cream product that you just applied. You want to really press it in and lock it down. I'm just going to apply a little bit to the forehead too. Just really buffing that into your hairline. And then underneath the jawline, on the chin, and then down the neck a little bit, just to diffuse any lines, really make it blend. A little on the tip of the nose. So now that I did the bronzer, I'm going to go in with a cooler toned contour shade. So this is the last color in this kit. So I am going to be really light-handed with this because it can tend to look almost too gray tone, but that's what's going to give you that nice shadow and that nice chisel. So I'm going in really lightly and I'm staying pretty far back against my ear, and I'm just going to work that into the hollow of my cheek. So look at that, and then look at that. See how much more it brings my face in? So it just really gives you that like chiseled feel, you know? So I'm gonna just apply it to the other cheekbone. And don't worry if it looks a little harsh right now, because once we apply the blush and the highlighter and everything, it's gonna blend out really nicely. So So I usually just apply this to my cheekbones to just give that a little extra definition, and then I apply whatever's left on the brush after I applied it to my cheekbones. I do it on my nose. So very light-handed with the nose. I don't want it to look too muddy or too obvious. You just want everything to blend really nice. So I'm just kind of pinching this brush just to make it a little more narrow, and just really lightly going down the sides of my nose, and then kind of like up into the brow. To see how it just defined that a little bit. And this just really straightens out the nose, slims it, and just brings everything together. Okay, so now that you've lined the sides, I'm just gonna tap it on the tip of my nose, and then just in the center, just connect to that a little bit. And then also a little trick to make your bottom lip look a little fuller. Just add a tiny bit underneath the lip. Okay, so then I'll go back in and just dust that excess setting powder off of everything, and this is really gonna blend everything really well. Just make sure that bronzer blends on the forehead really well. You don't want anything looking patchy. And then one last little thing. So I usually go in with my sponge and a little more setting powder. And I just dip that in just to the lid of the powder, so there's just a little bit on the edge. And I am going to just clean up that contour. So you want the line to connect from the center of your ear to the corner of your mouth. So see that line? So that's where you want things to hit. So again, starting from the center of the ear to the corner of the mouth. You're just going to connect that all the way through. So then while that is sitting, I am going to apply my blush. So I'm just using a Tarte blush, their Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush in Feisty. So it's just like a nice mauve tone, not too pink. So then I will apply that right over top of my contour. And just try to just blend that out. Another tip with blush too, if you smile, you want it to just apply to the apples of your cheeks and just blend out from there. So again, right over top of that contour, smile, get it onto the apples of your cheeks. And you always want to stop your blush like right at the center of your eye. If you go in too close to your nose, it almost just looks like you're just red. So you just want to keep it back here from the center of your eye outward, and you just really want to buff it and blend it with that bronzer and that contour shade. Just working back and forth just to make sure everything blends really well. So then I'm going to dust that powder away from underneath the contour and also blend out my blush. So you just want to diffuse any lines so you're not looking crazy. Don't get crazy. And I usually will just go through and just soften anything up. Anything looks a little patchy, just use that translucent powder everywhere. Now that I have my foundation on, I have my concealer, I have my cream contour shade. I use a foundation for that. I also set everything with a translucent powder, use a bronzer, a contour shade, and then a blush. I am now going to use a highlighter. So my favorite highlighter shade right now is a Becca highlighter, which they make beautiful highlighters. They're just so glowy and angel-like. I love angels. I always wanted to be an angel. Just kidding. So this is the shade Rose Quartz. It's a really pretty, it's like a soft pink actually. It almost is like a really fair rose gold. So I will just apply this to the top of my cheekbone, just buffing it and creating almost like a C-like shape from the forehead to the top of the cheekbone. Depending on how dramatic you want it, you can keep layering. I like it a little dramatic. I like to just glow. So again, you want to create a C shape. So using the highlighter on like the high points of your forehead where it comes out a little bit and right above the brow bone. So you'll come around here and just apply that to the tops of the cheekbones. So I also like to apply a highlighter is down the center of my nose. So I'll take a smaller brush, just dip into that highlighter and just come down the center just a little bit on the bridge of the nose, and then I'll put a tiny bit on the tip of the nose. So it just kind of like makes everything pop. And then I will also apply a little bit of highlighter on to my Cupid's bow. And that just makes your lips look a little fuller. So now that all of the highlighting and contouring is on, I always use a setting spray. Like, I can't live without setting spray. I don't know about y'all, but I never leave the house without it on. So my favorite is the Motives Cosmetics 10 Years Younger setting spray. It's really nice. It's really weightless. It just makes all of your makeup look more skin-like after you have applied all of these layers. So I am going to set my face with the setting spray just to lock everything in. I just give it a really good mist. Just fan. See how it just kind of made everything look a little more dewy, a little more glowy. So it just melts everything together. It melts all the powder and the cream products together and just really locks it in really nicely. So I am going to finish my brows and finish my lips, and I'm going to come back and show you. And this is the final look for my contour and highlight tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave any questions below, and I'd love to hear your suggestions on what videos you'd like to see next. Also, head on over to my how-to playlist to see more videos. P.S. If you live in the Philadelphia area and would like to make a hair or makeup appointment with me, the contact info is below. Come see me at Salon Moda.